My name is Amit Patel. I'm a manager at Integ Consulting. Also on the call, we have Rashad Khan. Rashad is a business solutions architect. We work with a lot of utilities, cooperatives, IPPs, as well as smaller electric generator providers throughout the country. And really, over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen a big problem where, you have these business analysts and you have the business side that wants and needs a lot of solutions, IT solutions. But there's a big gap in that IT solutions are time consuming and expensive. And even if you have the money, you don't have the time, right? Because IT is very busy. They're focused on security, keeping things running. So often analysts end up resorting to having no solution or doing it in Excel or doing it every day manually. Um, and with this, what we're going to talk about today, the whole goal is how the business analyst can build, IT grade solutions using AI. And, what we're seeing is tremendous. Everything you're able to get these solutions that are built within, minutes versus something that would have taken months. Now, it does take time to test and everything, but literally personally, we're able to do things within 1 to 2 days that were taking, a month, even in our code base to operationalize. So this is amazing. And I think, the tool we're going to show you, DOTA, is going to be a tremendous tool for business analysts. Um, Adam, I don't know if you want to add anything while we're waiting.
No, I think one of the things folks Amit has lately been playing around with, let's say ChatGPT and Claude, right? But I think from there they are seeing the what tools can do. But over here we are showing them not only you can do analysis, find problems, but how you do operationalize these things so that you can then solve a problem and then share it with, let's say, all your end users could be like hundreds, right, in your organization. So I mean, that's the powerful of DOTA is that you solve the problem and then you share it with everybody who can look at the analysis or neither who can run the analysis with different dates and criteria and all those things, just like you would have been doing any kind of dashboards.
All right, so let me get started. Um, this entire webinar is about business analysts, right? How can they build the solutions they need without IT? Um, and really, if you're going to talk about this, right, the end solution has to be safe, secure, and it needs to be reliable, right? IT is not going to let business analysts build these solutions unless they're going to be built on best practices. So, whatever we're talking about, think of this as these solutions will be IT blessed and they're using IT best practices. So, the whole goal is that you have this business analyst, right? Or the business itself, business groups. They own the knowledge, they have a need for these types of solutions. We have AI now that can build it. Certain things can be built within minutes, and there's still a process of testing, making sure everything looks good. But once you're happy, let's say within a day, you've done this, you've tested it, then you can press a button and go ahead and say create solution. Within minutes, you can create software that runs repeatably. So the output of this is software that is not AI. You used AI to create the software. This would be like a vendor writing software for you or your IT writing software. Instead, the analysts talked to the AI built it. It is software that was scanned for, security concerns. It's using best practices, and you're pressing a button and you can deploy this thing and run it. So I'll give you an example of, you know, this is a outage analysis report, right? So if I come in, this was built as a dashboard and I can say, hey, I want to do this outage analysis, and I can come in and I can put in my years, right? And this is not hard coded. This is getting data directly from the underlying databases. So you can use this as software, and depending on what years you see, it'll bring in data, right? So I have cost code analysis. I have year-to-date forecast, where I'm forecasting EAF. These are my actuals, these are my estimates, and this is the monthly values. And I can create all sorts of dashboards. And all of this was created using AI. Um, and in fact, created within minutes. We have solar performance metrics, we have predictive maintenance, right? This is, you know, telling me that for this unit, right, I have this inspection and its hot gas path is due 9/8/2027. I can also look at it this way. And I can also just say, hey, I want to look at only my GT101 unit, and it's just showing me data for that unit. So again, all of this is live. These are live solutions similar to software that somebody would have created, and it can look different. And you can have, I'll walk through in a little bit how the system works, and we'll walk through, um, just chatting with the system from scratch. So the whole key, right, to useful AI is that you have your data, you have your knowledge, and you can use AI to create everything and instantly deploy it. So we're going to do this within a minute. Let me know if anybody has any questions. And if you all want, what we're doing is if anybody wants to use this tool, we have a sandbox with sandbox data where you can use it. Or if you want this on your own environment, we're, allowing companies to use it on a trial basis as well. So you can actually see how it works and how useful it is without having to purchase this. We have lots of utilities, cooperatives now that are using this, and we just started the about 6 or so weeks ago with this. So
Amit, a question
yeah.
we had in an earlier one, somebody was saying that if you have ChatGPT, how it's going to be a little different. Well, I think the answer is in ChatGPT and in our tool, right? None of the data goes to the LLM. So first of all, your cost is very less. And second thing, Amit will show you how you can operationalize the whole thing so that you build something and every user in your organization, your group can use it, which that ChatGPT tool or Claude tool is not allowing nowadays. So
Yeah.
there's a difference between those two things. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, that's a great question. Let's get started. Okay. So what I want to talk about, let's do a use case, and there's tons of use cases that you can do. These are some of these are being already done. You could do margin analysis, run efficiency optimizations. Are you running things properly? I could do heat rate performance. How is that going? I could do startup optimization. I can do asset health monitoring, and a bunch of other use cases that I've shown you, forecasting. Um, but the way to do this is number one, you have your data and your requirements, right? So let's look at, we want to do cause code analysis, right? To say what type of cause codes do we have. And for that, we need event data and we need cause code data, right? So let's just start with the data. If I want to do this, let's say, this is an analyst named Joe. He's coming in. What's going to happen is that Joe will see the data sets that he has access to. So for example, like I got this is a NERC event data set, and it tells me that, hey, you have to pick years. So you're not necessarily going to bring in the entire data set. You may be bringing it in through years or units. This one is just giving you years, but you could have one that has units as well. And as I do this, it's giving me a preview of the data. So this data is not in Excel. This is getting it live from the underlying database. It only has read only. And with IT, they've given Joe access to this. That's the only reason he has this. So we have our event data. Now let's look at cause code data, right? We want cause code descriptions. The reason we want those is that in the event data, it only has these numbers. They're not useful. We want to do these descriptions. So we'll say, okay, we like this thing. We'll go ahead and use it. And now what I've done is I've told the system, listen, I'm working on something. I need these data sets as a starting point. And now I have to tell it what I want, right? So I'm going to tell it, say, hey, can you do some cause code analysis and show me the top 10 cause codes. Also show me analysis on event types and give me as many graphical views as possible. Okay. If I want to add more detail, I can. Now, if we look at this, right, what we did here is we gave it the data and requirements, right? The data was when I picked those areas, the requirements was basically what I typed in. This is my requirements, and I can go deeper into that. And now what's going to happen, apologize, is that AI is coding it. All right. We're going to see if we like it. We may have to reprompt it to adjust. And then if we like it, we're going to test and make sure it looks okay. This is the only time consuming step. Everything done in minutes, done in minutes. And if we like this, then we can deploy this and it can become a dashboard the same way I showed you some of those other dashboards. Um, the key point is that you're using AI here, but once you deploy or operationalize, which I'll show you later, this is software. This is reliable. This will run the same way every day. If you put in X, you'll get whatever the output should be. If you put in Y, it'll give you the proper output. It is unlike AI where you can put in the same thing twice, you're going to get different answers. So just want to point that out. Rashad, is there anything you want to add? And by the way, as we see this, this has created, a bunch of visualizations, and it said, hey, these is the event type distribution. These are the top 10 cause codes. Now, in some of these, I may have not wanted reserve shutdown in my analysis, but I could have just added that, or I could reprompt this. And what this also does is creates a summary for you, and it tells you that, hey, this is what happened. And it actually also created an interactive dashboard for me as well with all of these types of things.
So
Now,
I mean, there's a
the,
question came out. They're asking what kind of data it can connect to. Can it connect to Pi or SCADA, and how much data it can process? Let me answer that question.
sure.
This system can connect to pretty much any systems you have, whether it's an APIs, your market data, SCADA systems, Pi systems, and it will process millions of records for you. And when it's processing, the LLM never gets any of the data. So yeah, to answer the question, you can connect to any data sets, Excel files, documents, PDFs, SCADA systems, SPI systems, ISO markets. If you give it connector, it will connect, and it will ask you the question. So just want to answer that question. Somebody raised that, and also you can do as you mentioned, the millions of records. You can process that in a very short period of time.
Yeah. So now if I like this and I want to create it as a dashboard, I can go ahead and create this, right? So I can move these things around and I can go ahead and operationalize this. And as you can see, Rashid did an earlier one. He wanted the look and feel to be different and he only used it this way, right? So this is what he created, but if you want more control, you can, pick anything within the chat is available to be able to add it as a widget. And you can go ahead and, create any of these types of things and you can add them and it'll add them to the bottom, top. you can move these around, but you could just see how easy this is to use. Within minutes, we can create operationalized dashboards for something with, you could have millions of rows. And if you look at these dashboards, right, if I go back into this cause code analysis dashboard, right, I
So
can
Amit,
go ahead and
one thing I
put in
wanted
the
to point out to the
parameters.
users.
Sorry.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to point to the user. So when you go back to the dashboard, right? Like let's say if you go back to the dashboard sections, now this is
Yeah.
not using AI anymore. I just want to be very clear. What it's
Yeah.
doing is executing the code. So the idea behind this is that you as an analyst solves a problem, creates an analytical dashboard, and then you share this dashboard across your organizations. Users comes in and they are just running just any typical dashboards. Could be in SharePoints, could be coming into DOTA, but there is no AI anymore. Because there's no AI anymore, it's gonna always gonna give you the same answers over and over again. Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, again, you can see I'm changing the parameters, all the values are changing. And again, I re-execute this. Each time you're doing this, it is software. It's going back to the database. It's crunching the numbers. Each time you change the parameters, let's say I want to go from 2022 to 2025. Let's see, we have 312 events here. We have 25 unplanned. So now you have 767 events, 52 unplanned. So it's fully live software. And also, before you operationalize this, the system also does all the security scanning, it does everything. And you can also assign this, if you're an administrator, to different folks. So when the folks come in, all they see is the dashboards and what they have access to. And that's it. They don't do anything else. They just have access to those specific dashboards. So just want to show you how easy it is. And I think within 4 or 5 minutes, we went and created dashboards and we were able to operationalize them and, create solutions, something that would have taken, 2, 3 weeks and possibly 15, $20,000 of IT cost, right? We did within minutes. So this is the power of AI. Um, and this is not limited to just your data. This can connect to market data. This can connect to Pi. This can connect to other vendors. So it's really, really powerful. Um, Let me know if any questions. If not, we will move ahead to having Rashad build a solution for, let's say we have this solar performance metrics, right? I created this dashboard using Rashad had created this. Why don't you show how we can create things such as the solar performance dashboard, Rashad? And
Sure. So
want to
let me just
share?
share my screen. Share screen and can you guys see my screen? Am I screen?
Yeah. Yep. Go for it,
Now,
Rashad.
so over here, right? We're gonna do a bit more complex. So this was a real world use case. A client of mine asked me, Rashad, I want to do some KPI matrix for renewables. Would you like to? Can we create some kind of dashboards, right? So I said, well, where do I get the metrics from? See, and the client says it's in NERC website. Can you get that KPIs from the NERC website and use that? So what we do, we have a concept called knowledge. So remember, we are not training any AI here. Here, it's requirements, right? I'm going to do some solar performance metrics, and I have a knowledge that knowledge meaning that I'm giving in my in my solar performance all the calculations what I need to do my solar metrics. So over here, if you want to have your requirements, you should always be giving your requirements in a knowledge document. So in that way, because over here I cannot prompt it. So in this example, as I see that I have this knowledge, I can go ahead and the concept is that I can go ahead and look at it. There's something called markdown. We can say, here's my exact formulas. and I can then save it the knowledge, and then my knowledge is saved. Now, when I
And
prompt it,
sorry,
if
Russ, just want to add something that this is often used by groups. So you're taking your institutional group knowledge, right? And you can add it. So knowledge can be formulas, knowledge can be how you want to do analysis, how you want to do forecasting. We'll actually show the forecasting in a little bit. Um, and the reason is that you don't type, you can type this into the prompt, but then next time you want to use it, you're not going to retype it, right? And some of this stuff can be, 40, 50 pages long if possible, if you're doing something complex. But the whole goal is that you can use the knowledge as requirements, and the AI will be able to take your data, take the knowledge, and whatever you put in the prompt and put it all together.
so over
Yeah.
here, initially, so what I'm going to do is first bring my data in. Uh, this data is where we submit to NERC as a performance records. So I have something called solar NERC performance, not this one. Let me just see. NERC solar performance. And I have data for 2024. I can view the data, and here is my data sets, which I'm going
Yeah.
to
And
load into them.
yeah, by the way, this is the file that folks sent to NERC. This has the raw data. What Rashad did in the knowledge, he went to the NERC DRI and copied and pasted all the metrics and their formulas. So we're going to ask this thing to say, hey, this is my output file with the raw data. I gave you all the formulas and we didn't do anything special. We just copied and pasted them from NERC. And now we're telling it, well, yeah, so now we're Rashad is going to tell it what we want
So
it
I'm
to
going to
do.
keep it a very high level analysis. I'm not going to go in depth for each of the KPIs. I can say, hey, can you uh, calculate the solar performance, sorry, KPIs from the applied, sorry, yeah, from the applied knowledge, right?
Did you
So I'm
add?
kind of giving high level. Yeah, I gave a very high level prompt here. I could have been more precise. Say, can you give me resource factors and things like this? So if I do this thing right, and show me some video and show me some visualizations. So let's do this. Let's run it. It's going to go to our LLM. And by the way, these are open source LLMs. These are not like, so it's going to go there. Its LLM is getting the information. Then it says, hey, by the way, yeah, I found a knowledge. The knowledge is, I can see here's a source because I have a lot of documents. And I think I should be able to, this is what you're looking for. And if I think that, yep, it got the right documents, it's doing something like this. Now, as you can see that it's using that knowledge document to give different kind of KPIs, which we asked for it. I could have been more precise to give very specific KPIs, but now as you can see, even that in a table, it's giving me the GAG, NAG, and MCs, giving me the AIH value, SIH value. These were all the KPIs where I had it within the knowledge document, right? I could have then asked more. It did an analysis, kind of told me, hey, here's the performance index, the pi range, the system availability, give more analysis. And I could have
Yeah,
then
and
asked to create it a
sorry,
much
one
complex.
thing, you can also have this, as if you're doing formulas, you can have it build intermediate Excel spreadsheets, you can do
Yes,
everything, have it
yes,
do all of that work.
yes.
And
I could export it into Excel here right now. This data could
yes,
have been there. But the point, what I was telling Amit, is that problem statements sometimes cannot be just simple prompts, right? Problem statements could be a whole 5-page requirements documents, right? And this is where your problem statement becomes in your knowledge, and you ask the question, it looks the knowledge document, understand the requirements, and then write the code behind it and do whatever it needs to get done. So
yeah,
once if this is good, right, I could create an HTML dashboard if I wanted to, or I could have just added these uh, graphs into my dashboard. I could have easily said something on create dashboards. And let me just move this thing here. add widget, and I could have, let's say I created some of these calculations. I could have added these two, could have executed this. So I could have be able to like choose the dashboards. I could have asked AI to give me more dashboards. Just this is I want to show you how we were building our NERC solar performance dashboards. And Amit, if you can just take over and show the ones I created before that I kind of prompted along a lot more and tried to come up with the right dashboards there, right? So.
Sure. Give me 1 second
And
here.
the idea behind this thing is, right, you can always keep chatting and asking more questions. So if I go back to my chat here, right, this is the chat I was doing, I could have said, hey, it is asking me, should I do a root cause analysis of the 100% performance drivers, right? Maintenance optimization. So I could have chatted more and more and get more information out of it, or could have created an entire like a dashboard out of these things.
Yeah. So this is what I ended up selecting, these few things from here.
You're not
And I
sharing
said,
them.
oh, sorry. I thought I was sharing. I am
Yeah.
sharing. No?
Okay, now you're sharing. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I ended up picking these four graphs, and then I had created an HTML dashboard. And the difference is that as you're doing the chat, all these graphs and tables, you can come in here and add them in, right, as part of the dashboard if you're editing. But you can also have
Do
it
you mind
create.
if you can go to the edit menu and show them? If you go to the edit
Sure,
menu, I think click on
sure. So
edit
one
menu.
thing, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
show is that these are individual pieces, or as you're prompting, you can ask it to create dashboards, and then you can throw those dashboards in here as well. And again, if you have the ability to create these,
I wanted to show them the configuration, the dashboards. If you go to the little circle by the cross sign, the other one,
yeah.
the not here, but like individual charts, like right, where they can
Oh yeah,
configure the
yeah.
colors and everything, right?
Yeah,
So
so you can come in here and add a widget and say, hey, I want these KPIs, I want these tables, or I want these HTML dashboards. Or if you want to configure the look and feel, you can kind of do this as well, right? If you wanted a different color, orange, whatever, you can go ahead and change these. You can have, a finance theme, whatever. You can also change some of these layouts if you wanted to different types of layouts, right? Depending on what you're doing. And you can have different types of styles as well. So if you wanted kind of frosted, split, waves, however. So you can go ahead and change these
or you can go
significantly.
also show the individual ones also, right? You can just click on that configure button and the individual things
Yep.
also. It's
And you
so
can
powerful.
also come in here and you can edit.
Not this one, the other ones, yeah.
Yeah.
The regular,
So
yeah.
yeah. So yes, you can come in here, edit this
Yeah.
as well, and you can change the color scheme. You can change the labels. Um,
Whatever you guys want to do, you have full control. Even the AI created it, you have the full control of how you want you to present it to the end users. So the way we are saying is this: let AI help you build it, and then you take control of it, and then you operationalize this thing with the way the color schemes, the charts, the layouts, everything. So you're not fully dependent on AI. So you're dependent on AI of the creation of it, but you are dependent on to operationalize this what AI has created.
yeah.
Also, one last thing, I mean, you also want to show in a template the code. I know some folks may be IT folks here. There's a question came out, so you can also show that in the templates, user can also see the code if there's some folks in IT. So you can go to templates on the left hand side over there, and then you can
Well,
go
yeah,
and look at.
I'm showing it here as it does it
Yeah,
step by step, right?
sure.
So, okay, so yeah, if I go into a template and let's say I want to do a, you know, forecast dashboard, then I can come in here and you can see each
Shows the
piece.
entire code here.
It shows so this is what we call glass box AI. Okay, so nothing's hidden. It's telling you exactly what it's doing. whether it has Python scripts, it has all of those. I mean, obviously you can go in and change it, but the whole purpose is that you really don't need to. But if you want to, for some reason, this is the HTML, it gives you everything. So it has all of this stuff. And as it creates artifacts, it also does security scans, just, even though we're using all safe and secure components, it'll still go ahead and do it just to be safe. So from beginning to end, one can argue this is actually better than the current processes because everything is systematized. With a developer, he may forget to do the IT scan, he may forget this or that. This does not do any of that. And we also want to point out that none of this is gonna, touch your underlying data. Everything that we get is read only, and the outputs and everything it controls, but it doesn't ever touch your underlying data. Um, So let me know if any questions. If not, I also want to show you all that where's there's a yeah, we had this EAF metric, right? And for this, again, we wanted to get EAF data, but then we wanted to actually have it do a calculation. So when we're doing this, right, I'm gonna just go back and do a new chat. And I want to show you the EAF knowledge that was there for the forecasting. So, this is kind of what it looks like to say, hey, user's going to put in current year and month, and they're going to, it's fill in the values. This is the data validation. This is the EAF formula. And by the way, this formatting is the system's done a lot of this. You just come down here and there's an optimize in the knowledge that will do it. But you're putting in the formula, you're putting in any rules to say, hey, you have to do it this way. Don't average, don't do this. And then for forecasting, I put in my logic, right? Now we can go way more complicated and say, hey, do this type of statistical analysis. It has all the libraries and everything to do all of that. Or you can just say, this is how I want to do it. So remember, this is if you were doing a project internally, you would tell someone exactly what you want. And instead of telling someone, you're writing this. And again, this is all English that an analyst, that knows the knowledge should be able to put in. And you put your information in, you create what you want, and then you create a dashboard from it. And then, you're going to have your dashboard for that piece and view it and look at it and see if you're happy with the dashboard um, within the system. So, as I said, you have your data requirements, your coding. You're going to test and validate that it's good. If it's good, you're going to create the dashboard any way you want, and then you can deploy it. If you want to change the dashboards, we showed you how you can edit and, add in elements that you had from the AI. And once you deploy it, if you have access, then you can give it to anybody in your group or whoever has permissions. And then they're going to go in and they're only going to see the dashboard just the same way they would see Power BI. Um, Also, if any of the data that's created from these, you can also expose it to your internal systems. You can expose it to Power BI. We have folks that have done simulated dispatch, right? So we have folks, for example, that do dispatch for the next 6 days using this or coal analysis or any other things. And they need that data for other systems to use it. So we have the ability to do that as well. I won't get into it because that gets more technical, but any of the data, it can be exposed on the dashboards or it can be exposed to other systems as well as an API. Um, so this is a fully secure enterprise system. And what the other thing I want to point out is as it's coding, right? When you're looking at um, this solution. For example, let's say where, I'm putting this in. So what the system is doing when I'm doing this, right? It's going to This is software now. It is just going, getting the data, running the software. There is no AI here. And even when you're actually doing the prompts here and you're getting this data, we keep all of the data internally. And here we send this to a model that can be selected, but we're only sending what the, like, if I pick here, let's say cause code, right? Description. We're only sending it these column names and what types. And sometimes possibly we may send, 3, 4 rows just as samples. So almost all other systems will send the entire data. We're only sending samples. And we ask the AI, how do you write the code? And the rest of it, the visualizations, everything, we're doing all those visualizations within the tool. So it's very, very cost effective. We have folks that are spending hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars doing these types of systems. Whereas, if you're using this should cost, no more than 20, 30 cents to create some of these solutions. So it's near zero cost. Wanted to point that out. um Rashad, anything else you want to add here? I think I'm getting to the end of what I wanted to get to. Really the whole goal was to show you all that, look, we can easily get your data safely, securely with data governance. We can put in your requirements. We can put in lots of knowledge. You can add in, PDF documents, whatever you want. And then the system's going to code and give you a solution. You make sure it's good, and you can, you know, set the output to whatever you want. You can format it. And then if you're happy, you can just deploy it. Um,
No, I think, I mean, that's good. I think the whole idea for us is that we want our business users who have the most knowledge about the business, have the ability to build applications or analytical applications without knowing too much of IT skills, right? So as long as they have the knowledge, they have the data, and they understand that with the knowledge it's doing correct, then they can go ahead and create these things. And I think we have seen it, it is doing across the different clients. Very, very complex problems would have taken us months. Now is taking mere, I would say, hours and days, depending how complex the problem is and how long. To me, it's like a game changer, especially in the business analytics world, the way they are able to do all these things themselves.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like this turns the analyst knowledge and gives them superpowers to be able to do all the things they needed. Because right now, due to IT and resource cost constraints, it may be too expensive or you just don't have the resources to do a lot of these things. Now, not only can you do a lot of what you need today, but you can ideate and you can dream and you can, build solutions you may not have thought of because just you didn't have these tools. So it's really amazing. You can kind of build a lot of these within minutes, see if it works. There's very little cost for failure. So you can really get not just productivity, but true, true innovation. Um, and we also have a separate solution for our AI power analytics that can, run automations and do a lot of that. We're building a solution that can build, read write systems. But that gets a bit more complicated. Just want to let you all know that that's all there and it's coming. We'll do separate sessions on those, but I feel like this is the best and simplest tool that any analysts in the utility space can use, across the generation performance, distribution, transmission, settlements, compliance, across multiple groups, this can be used. So
I mean, one thing again, I mean, also want to say you that I don't know if all the folks from utilities, but this is being used in banks. This is being in manufacturing companies. So some of the use cases I've seen in Amit, you're talking about it goes to market, gets the market pricing data, gets the weather data, looks the outages. So it's doing those things. And when you create a complex application, and that's it, and you run it, and it's running smoothly because you have validated the whole process, right? So.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we're doing is that we're gonna have an app store concept where you can just go get all of these things. You don't even have to build them. You can go get them. You just have to tie them up to your data, and you're gonna be able to get all of these solutions for free because if you have the platform, then let's say you want that, you know, event analysis, or let's say you want the margin analysis, or let's say you want the predictive maintenance. All of those will be able to be added in as, apps. Even if they're created externally and you like them, you can try them out. So you can literally have, hundreds of different solutions without having to create them internally. And it may be things you haven't thought of. So we're going to encourage sharing and encourage folks, within a few months, where we want to start that concept as well. So, yeah, so we'll kind of end it here. I want to thank everybody for joining. Adam, do we need to do anything now to go ahead and end this?
No,
I
should be
just
good. If you guys want to get a deeper demo of the products that Amit and Rashad talked about today, you can just reply to the email that goes out right after this. Leave a review on that email too, makes it super helpful. We're going to do more of these with Integ in the next couple of months because it's exciting. Interesting. People always like it. And we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add, since this is so new, we want you all to try this. There's no cost. You can try it on our sandbox. Try it for a couple months, right? Because you want to see how it works. And if you want, you can even try it on your internal um, uh, network as well, or on a hosted platform where you can where it's just your data as well.
Mhm.
All of that right now we're offering at no cost if you want to do that. So just reach out when you get the email, or you can reach out to Adam directly. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much.